Now, if you told me you owned all of the Bitcoin, I wouldn't take it because what would I do with it?
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto.
It's probably going to 100, then 150, then 200,000.
I don't think it is ever the internet of money.
The asset itself is creating nothing.
I think it's a scumball activity.
Shorted if there was an easy way to do it.
Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030.
A decision that some have described as historic.
Once upon a time in 2009, a mysterious figure by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto appeared on the internet. Now, nobody knows if Nakamoto is a person or a group, but what they brought to the world would change the course of finance forever.
Baby, I got a plan. Run away fast as you can.
Now imagine a world where people relied on traditional currencies like dollars, euros, or yen. These currencies were governed by central banks and governments, subject to inflation, and influenced by economic policies. But Nakamoto envisioned something different. A digital currency that would operate on a decentralized network called Bitcoin. In our story, Bitcoin was like a rebel, challenging the established order of centralized control. Instead of relying on governments or banks, it ran on a technology called blockchain, a public ledger that recorded every transaction with Bitcoin. This ledger was not stored in one place, but rather duplicated across a network of computers worldwide, making it secure and resistant to tampering. You can think of blockchain like this. Imagine you have an important notebook that you use with you and your friends to write down important things. Instead of one person being in charge of the notebook, everyone has a copy of the notebook. And whenever someone adds a new piece of information, it gets checked by everyone else. Now picture that each page is connected within the notebook. And as you scroll through, it's like a chain. The chain of the pages is what we call blockchain. What makes it really cool is when something is written on this page, it is very hard to change because everyone else has their own copy of this notebook. They would notice if something fishy happened. So blockchain is like a super secure and shared notebook. The magical aspect of Bitcoin is in its limited supply. Unlike traditional currencies, which can be printed endlessly, Bitcoin has a finite amount. Bitcoin has a cap of 21 million Bitcoins. It was as if there was this finite amount of treasure and everyone else wanted a piece of it. People are starting to see the benefits of Bitcoin. It promised financial privacy and being able to send and receive money without intermediaries. However, not everyone in our story believes in the magic of Bitcoin. Skeptics have thought that it was a speculative bubble or even just a scam. They question its value and if this digital currency could actually replace a fiat currency. Even famous investors like Warren Buffett have been notably against Bitcoin. Despite the doubt, Bitcoin's story has continued to evolve. It gained acceptance from major corporations, investors, and even now institutions are looking at buying Bitcoin. And now with the recent addition of Bitcoin ETFs that just got approved, we are now entering a new era of finance. We are throwing out the old ways and offering a glimpse into a decentralized future. As people discover Bitcoin, they're finding different ways to interact with it. Some choose to be holders, holding on to their digital treasure for the long term. Others embrace the excitement of trading Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrencies. A few even venture into Bitcoin mining. And so the tale of Bitcoin continues. Skeptics, believers, and those who simply watch from the sidelines. Is Bitcoin the future of finance? Or is it a risky venture, a mirage in the desert? The ending of this story is yet to be written. And the only way to reveal the true fate of Bitcoin is to give it some time. So what are my thoughts on Bitcoin? Well, we've learned that it's a decentralized asset, which is beneficial to a lot of people. We also know it's a store of value, similar to gold. There's also the blockchain that we learned about. That's the transparency aspect that I really appreciate the most out of Bitcoin, and why I see the future holding a lot of digital contracts. The scarcity of demand, because the supply of Bitcoin is at 21 million, and we've already mined about 19 million of it. The scarcity of this asset is only growing, and as supply goes down, demand will go up. Basic economics. And now there's a perfect storm with the adoption from institutions. Even in the US, they've approved spot Bitcoin ETFs. BlackRock is one of the main institutions. There's also expanding use cases for Bitcoin. And eventually you're gonna have to think we start using this to barter. It's the ultimate goal of Bitcoin, but it's going to ascend and reach a price before it stables out and people start to use it for bartering. Because right now, why would you sell it? It's only increasing in value. And when it's this volatile, people don't want to sell because really, like, there's no point. My thoughts are that Bitcoin can change the financial landscape of the world. While risks do exist, and there are many, I do believe that something has changed. Bitcoin bottomed at 18,000, and there was a steady bottom there. And every time there's a steady bottom, we see this ascension to new heights. For me personally, it's a portion of my portfolio, but not the whole thing. Definitely not the whole thing. We're seeing the halving of Bitcoin, which is only gonna increase the scarcity even more. We're seeing the spot Bitcoin ETFs, as we've mentioned, and we're also seeing this momentum of this super cycle that a lot of Bitcoin enthusiasts seem to think is happening now. So whether you believe in that or not is up to you, but there's other bull cases that are a little harder to deny. So I'll leave you with this. The future of Bitcoin. A revolutionary force, a development that could be the 12th sector, according to Kevin O'Leary, or a risky investment where you could lose it all, as many would say. You decide. Thanks for watching. Peace.